Our standard is I can determine the meanings of words or phrases as they are used in a text, including figurative and connotative meanings, and I can analyze the impact of a specific word choice on meaning and tone. We are going to focus on that very first part, figurative meanings. Figurative language is saying that something is other than what it actually is for a fact. It's not to be taken literally. A first example is going to be simile, a comparison of two things using like or as. So Katy Perry is going to give us our first example. Do you ever feel like a plastic bag, drifting through the wind, wanting to start again? She's comparing you to a plastic bag using that word like. Similes aren't always going to be as simple as a Katy Perry song. For example, if seen from above the factory, the workers would have looked like clock parts. Workers are being compared to clock parts. This implies that the workers were moving quickly and efficiently, all making one thing work, not a clock, but the factory. Read the following 4 examples as well. The truth was like a bad taste on his tongue. Alan's jokes were like flat soda to the children, surprisingly unpleasant. Though they knew it or not, their baby's cries were as lovely as jeweled butterflies, and she was as distant as a remote tropical island. Next, we're going to look into metaphor, a comparison of two things without using like or as. For instance, the chorus sings, "Baby, you're a firework." Well, you are not a firework. She's saying that something is something that it's not. Just like similes, metaphors aren't always going to be as simple as a Katy Perry song. These metaphors are a bit more complex. She was fairly certain that life was a fashion show. The typical teenage boy's room is a disaster area. What storms then shook the ocean of my sleep? The children were roses grown in concrete gardens, beautiful and forlorn. The last one's a bit hard because it doesn't actually say is or was. The detective listened to her tales with a wooden face. The detective doesn't actually have a wooden face, nor is she wearing a mask. The detective is listening to these tales without showing emotion. Her face is solemn and unmoving. The last thing we are going to review is personification, giving human qualities or characteristics to non-human things. For example, once again, do you ever feel like a plastic bag, drifting through the wind, wanting to start again? A plastic bag does not actually have human emotions or desires, so it cannot want to start again. The following are a bit more complex and have deeper meanings than Katy Perry's example. For example, the wind whispered through the dark and gloomy forest. The gardener lovingly added the manure to his crops, believing he was making happy flowers. As we walked through the scorching desert, the sun beat down on us. Time crawled as Tim sat in the hot detention room, painfully watching the clock tick. The lumberjack leveled the many trees into a clearing, and his chainsaw sang its deadly song. Wind doesn't whisper. Flowers aren't happy or sad or have any emotion. The sun cannot beat down on you. Time does not crawl, and a chainsaw does not sing. Now that you're refreshed, it's time to get busy.